say that the internal clock, just getting the ball out of there no matter what, is one of the things you're working on right now? Is that, from watching Drew, is that something that you're focused on a lot?
Yeah, I think what made Drew so special was his ability to recognize coverage and always get it to the right guy. And I would say that that's the natural progression as a quarterback, and I think that comes with reps. So as I look at this camp, I've been getting a lot more reps. My comfort level of getting through a progression, making the right decision, checking the ball down when it needs to be checked down, all that stuff. It's all part of being a great QB. It's what I was able to see Drew do for so long, and so that's the natural progression for any QB. Is
it fighting a natural tendency to want to make a play and maybe hold on to the ball too long? Is there any of that involved?
I think in practice there certainly is, because practice, you're trying to work on timing with receivers. You're trying to certainly there's some scramble rule elements that you're trying to practice, but you're really trying to get receivers balls. And so I think you have to consciously take every rep like a game rep, or sometimes you get in trouble in a practice setting. I think in a game, everything becomes very natural as you're making the right decision, as you're trying to move the change and all that stuff, but certainly in a practice setting for sure.
Okay, so what do you still want to show coaches or implement personally in the next 1 or 2 preseason games?
I think it's all those things that we've talked about. I think there's just some core things that you have to be able to do as a quarterback to play in this league, and so that doesn't change. I feel really comfortable. I feel capable of doing all of those things that you need to do in this league to play quarterback. And then there's this whole element, that I'm capable of doing on Sunday that you don't really get to showcase in a practice setting as well. And so I think in a game, where you might get 15, 18 snaps or you play a quarter, the opportunity to showcase that is a little limited. So I think, you try to do that in practice. Maybe there's a few opportunities in a game, but I think just trying to showcase all of that is what I would hope for. But again, those opportunities become limited when you're only playing a few snaps.
You probably correctly said that we're the ones who keep calling it a competition, but for all of us who keep waiting for like that knockout round that makes it obvious, oh, this guy had this great. How do you fight the urgency to be like, man, if I could throw 2 touchdowns in this game, then I'll how do you resist that the game is that important?
I don't think it works that way. I think every play call is a little bit different, and so you guys can look at statistics and you can start to say what you want to say about those statistics, but internally, we know what our concepts are. We know what the play call was, and I know if that was the right decision, and the ball went where it needed to go. So there's so many things that go into playing this position that outside of this building, you're just not aware of.
You brought up just like getting more reps. I mean, I imagine this is more reps than you've gotten in a long time. Just having that benefit of those, like in practice, working with 1, 2, whatever. Mm-hmm. Have you been able to like pick up on more stuff, just having more work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Drew was a rep guy. He's a guy that wanted them, needed to see it all. And I would say that I'm a visual learner as well. And it's just so different when you get the rep. Maybe you make a wrong decision. Like you learn from that experience in an entirely different way than if you just watch somebody do it. You see a lot of different looks, and you like what you did, and then you kind of get a grasp for that concept versus that coverage. And man, I just the reps that you get are so valuable. And from a couple weeks ago when we started to where I'm at now, I feel like my growth as a quarterback has been the most it's been since I've been here, and it's because of the reps.
I wanted to revisit real quick the whole sack avoidance and internal clock thing. And that on the one hand, there's this notion that the offensive line wasn't the only reason that the Saints were so low in sacks, that it was, Bree's understanding of, when he had to get rid of the ball. But on the other hand, you're not physically the same as him, particularly as it pertains to elusiveness. So should you necessarily be trying to be just like he was in that regard, or should you just be your own?
No, I mean, yeah, I think we've talked about this where, man, there's so many things that I want to emulate that Drew did, and he's a Hall of Fame guy, and he's the greatest mentor that I've had in my career, but my game is different than his. So I think for me, it is finding that balance of, you know, check it down or throw it away or make something happen with my feet. And again, every situation is different, and it's finding that balance, you know. So there's going to be situations where, man, I wish I would have thrown it away, and there'll be situations where I probably wish that I wouldn't have tried to work a scramble drill, and I wish I would have just taken it and done that. But I think that's all part of the learning experience and this evolution of, you know, me playing quarterback.
We got Tom down there.
It looked like you and Ty connected on a similar crossing route set up to, you know, what went for the interception the other day. Just curious, you know, what's the process throughout the week when you identify, you know, a misread or just you know, you're not on the same page? What's the process of kind of building that, you know, mental trust throughout a game?
Yeah, well, I think again, this kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. You know, when you're in a game and you have a learning experience like that, you know, you don't forget those experiences. So I think just having that rep in a game setting was enough, you know, to where we're going to focus on this, you know, and that was something that Ty and I were both going to collectively work together on. And then we had a drill specifically for that concept, how we read it, and we worked it in practice to make sure that we're on the same page. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sid.